Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Now, chances are if you clicked on this video, it is because you want to get better at Fortnite in 2024. And with FNCS just a few days away, now is the perfect time to take your game to the next level. Now, the purpose of this video is to help you get a start and get going in the right direction. I've broken it down into 5 easy steps that you can start following to boost your chances of qualifying or to just simply get the best placement you've ever gotten. Again, starting off this list, FNCS is a duos tournament. So the one most important thing that you can do to have a great tournament is to find a good duo. Now, what I mean by a good duo isn't just necessarily someone who's absolutely crazy at the game, the cracked out fighter that you know. It has to be someone who's good at working with you, who's patient, who stays positive, because let's be honest, you're going to have a bad game, you're going to have a bad tournament, heck, you might even have a bad month. So if you really want to get better, you need to find someone who's willing to put in the work with you and who's going to be patient and not just blame you for everything. Now, you may need to find someone who's maybe slightly worse than, the cracked out player you want to play with, but trust me, in the long run, it will be worth it. Now, some of you may be asking, but how do I find this so-called perfect duo that I can have perfect chemistry with? And the answer is really simple. The best way, in my opinion, to find a good duo is to go on a Discord server, specifically one for your region of play. So for me, that's NA Central. So you can look through, search up on Google or wherever, find a link to these servers, and then go into the looking for players section, and you will find hundreds, if not thousands, of players looking for new teammates, either because their old teammates stopped playing or they just want to try someone new out. This is a great way to find someone, and you don't have to stick to that person forever. But once you find someone you've got good chemistry with, you play well together, and you're both willing to learn, that's someone you want to stick with, and then it's worth grinding with them from there on out. Now, once you have your duo that you've committed to and you want to grind with, the next step is to find a good drop spot. Now, there's a few key things you want to think about when choosing your perfect drop spot. Now, number 1 is your current skill level. If you're a crazy fighter and you're absolutely insane at fighting, you may pick a very different fighter than someone who's like me and a little bit older and might want a more low-key drop spot. That being said, you do need to make sure that your drop spot has ample amount of loot for both you and your duo. You don't want to land at some random little shack in the middle of the woods, get a couple guns, and hope that your tournament goes well. It's not going to happen. You might scrounge up a few points, but you need good loot to be able to make it into the end game and to do well in those end games. Most of your points are going to come in the end game, and if you don't have good loot to fight and get a refresh, you're not going to clutch up those games where all the points are. So find a place with good loot, number 1. Number 2, it needs to have good mats. The better the mats, the better the place it is, especially if you can find a spot with good metal, either nearby or on the drop itself. One of these places that's really great because of both its decent loot, but also because of its insane amount of material, is Classy Quartz. Classy Quartz has abundant amount of metal because of the fences near it, and this makes it a really great loot spot if you're looking for a place that's not too crazy like, Peter Griffin. Now, once you have your drop spot and you have your teammate, you're going to want to work with them on coming up with a game plan. Some of you may have coaches that they can help with. Some of you may have friends that have a little bit more experience in the game. Either way, work with your duo and come up with a game plan for your play style. Like I said, if you're a team that likes to full W key the first few games, find places that you can fight people. Is there a major POI nearby? Are there people that land on you? What's the best way to get material and fast, because you need to have your material at a cap? And finally, how are you going to rotate to zone? And do you need surge tags along the way? Those are all things you want to think about when you're crafting your perfect game plan. And this isn't a one size fits all. It's going to be different depending on where you land, your play style, and everything. So work with someone and figure it out from there. Now, once you have your whole tournament set up, you've got your teammate, you've got your drop, you've got a game plan, you know everything that you're going to do. You don't have to think about it mid-tournament. Now you're going to want to create a warm-up routine. It doesn't have to be anything crazy, but you do need to have a good warm-up routine to stay consistent throughout the tournament and to make sure that you're performing at your best. I can't tell you how many times I've gone into a tournament without really warming up, just thinking, oh, I've got this, especially in solos a lot. And I just get my butt absolutely kicked because I was not ready for the tournament. You don't want that happening, especially in FNCS. This is the biggest tournament of the season, and you want to make sure that you are well prepared. What I recommend doing is spending 30 minutes to an hour practicing things like your aim, either in-game or in like a Kovacs, then practicing your mechanics like your edits and your builds for a few minutes, and finally go into some realistic 1v1s or 2v2s even with your duo so that you can get a little bit of fighting in before the tournament. Don't go too crazy, don't practice for 4 hours and wear yourself out, but make sure you're ready to go before the start of the tournament. This will make you a lot more confident going into that first key game or whatever you end up doing for your game plan, and you'll have a lot better tournament because of it. Now, finally, and this is the most important thing if you want to stay consistent and keep getting better throughout all of 2024. The last thing on this list is to VOD review. It doesn't have to just be tournaments. It could be your fights. It could be random pros. It could be someone that drops at the same spot as you, like a pro that does really well from your spot. And that can be part of making your game plan is VOD review. See how they go about looting, see how they find their fights, their refreshes. All of that can be very useful, especially if your duo's learning chemistry with each other. How do the pros do it? That can be very helpful for you and your teammate. And you'll learn a lot more from your mistakes going about it this way. So yeah, that's all I have for the video today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see all of my tournaments live, I'll be live on Twitch using the link down below. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments and I'll be sure to answer them. And finally, if you like this type of content and you want to see more of it, you want to see my tournaments or more helpful content, be sure to subscribe and turn notifications on to this channel. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace.